Hello, my name is Rusho, and I am the priest at Myoshoji, which means Wonderful Voice Buddhist Temple. And I am making this video at the request of Erica, the instructor or teacher for the 7th grade class at Mountain Island Charter School. The students had sent some questions for me to answer as part of a class project they are working on, and so I will do my best to answer those questions. This is the second time I have recorded this video, so hopefully this time will work. So let us go ahead and begin. So, who is Buddha and how does one become one? Actually, the sentence wasn't finished, so I'm just guessing that that was the question. So the Buddha was born 2,500 to 3,000 years ago. He was a prince, and his name was Siddhartha. His last name was Gautama, and he was born in India. He lived in the castle, in the palace with his father, and his father had provided him all sorts of luxuries and all the benefits that being a prince would bring. However, the prince became curious about what goes on outside the palace, and he made 4 trips, and on each of these trips he saw different things. On one trip he saw a sick person, on another trip he saw a woman giving birth, the 3rd trip he saw a dead person, and on the 4th trip he saw a religious seeker or a religious person. And so after seeing these, the desire came within him to try to find a way to eliminate suffering, to be able to teach people how they can become happy. And so he went off into and began to practice for roughly 6 years. He endured all kinds of hardships and deprivations. At the conclusion of this, he sat under a tree, meditated, and became awakened to the true nature of reality and the truth of life. And that is what Buddha means, to be awakened, or the awakened one. And we believe that by practicing Buddhism, by following the teachings of the Buddha and doing the practices contained in various sutras, that we also can become Buddhas. Number 2, the second question was, why do Buddhist monks often set themselves on fire? First off, this is not, in most Buddhist denominations, this is not an activity that is taught or condoned. We do not advocate self-immolation or setting oneself on fire. However, there are some Buddhist denominations who believe that as a final act of non-attachment, that setting themselves on fire in protest brings great merit. But quite frankly, I look at it as a last act of desperation. When people become desperate, they try whatever they can to affect the change that they wish to bring about. We only need to look at current circumstances, at how some religious people manifest their belief through terrorist activities or whatnot. So, and again, I think in all religions, at the heart of the religious teaching, those kinds of activities are not really condoned. And certainly that's the case in Buddhism. In our denomination, it's to the best of my knowledge, no priest has ever practiced self-immolation. So who do Buddhists pray to? We do not believe in a god or a deity or some being outside of ourselves that dispenses benefits or provides us with anything. And so we don't really pray to anyone or anything. We instead practice prayer from the standpoint of expressions of gratitude, being grateful for the things that we have been provided, seeking to deeper understand the teachings of Buddha and to practice those and make those an integral part of our life. We also pray so that we can become in tune with the universe. You might think of a stringed instrument where if a certain sound is made and that sound is identical to the tuning of the string, then the string begins to vibrate even though the string was not touched. And so it is with our life that we pray and chant so that our life becomes in rhythm or in tune with the universe. So, do Buddhists believe in a heaven or hell? We do not believe in, most Buddhists do not believe in a physical place after death of heaven or hell. Although we do frequently speak in that way, but it is more metaphorical. For us, heaven and hell are conditions of our current life, and they can manifest in any number of ways. For a student, hell might be an F grade. Heaven might be an A grade. But as a student, I'm sure you're aware that an A today does not guarantee an A tomorrow, or an F today does not guarantee an F tomorrow. That we have the ability to make the changes in our life to bring about the conditions that we wish to experience. So, who do Buddhists believe created the earth? For Buddhists, it's not really part of our teaching. In our denomination in particular, and I'll speak primarily from our denomination's perspective, and for most Buddhists, creation is not a primary focus of our belief system or our practice. The past is unchangeable, regardless of what it was. And so our primary focus is on the present and what we do in this moment to make the causes for the kind of experiences we wish to have in the future. Mostly Buddhists believe whatever science has discovered or has proven. So for myself, I do believe in an evolution. I believe in a constant changing process, but there certainly may be some Buddhists who believe that there was some creation moment. But again, it's not something that as Buddhists we focus on. It's just not important to us. What is important is what is in this moment and what my actions are for the future. So why do Buddhists chant? I kind of alluded to that in the answer to the first question. Our primary purpose of chanting is that is a form of prayer, and we are trying to deepen our understanding and appreciation of the Buddha's teachings. We are trying to strengthen our ability to carry out the teachings of the Buddha on a day-by-day basis, moment by moment. We also chant that we might align ourselves or become in rhythm with the entire universe. And for us, our chant is Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, which briefly means Namu from the Indian word Namaste, which means I honor, revere, respect, cherish. The Myoho Renge Kyo. Myoho Renge Kyo is the title to the Lotus Sutra. It's the Japanese pronunciation of the Chinese characters as the sutra title is written out. Myoho means wonderful Dharma, Renge means lotus flower, and Kyo means sutra. We revere the lotus. We use the title the Lotus Blossom for a variety of reasons. I'll share with you a brief explanation of the significance of the lotus blossom. The lotus grows in the mud below the surface of the water, and as the flower blooms, the flower rises to the surface, and regardless of the dirt or the mud that it grew in, the flower is pure and clean. And as the lotus flower blossoms, the seeds are manifest at that point. And so for us, this symbolizes the simultaneous nature of cause and effect. Most flowers, as you know, require pollination, and then the seed develops. But in the lotus flower, when the blossom unfolds, the seed pod is there along with the seed. So are there Buddhist holy places? Yes, indeed. We revere the birthplace of the Buddha, the Lumbini Garden. We revere the places where the Buddha taught, the location of the first monastery. All of these historical sites are significant to Buddhists. In each denomination, there are also significant historical sites. For us as Nichiren Buddhists, we have our head temple at Mount Minobu in Japan. The temple name is Kuanji. We encourage people to make pilgrimage there if they are able, although it is not required. We also make pilgrimages to various other historical sites that are significant in the life of Nichiren. So is Buddhism more of a religion or a way of life? It is both. It is both a way of life and a religion. Many people do approach Buddhism from a self-help or a philosophical way of approaching their daily lives, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that. However, there is a certain faith aspect to Buddhism as well. Our beliefs of rebirth, as opposed to final destination of heaven or hell, certainly is a faith, it's a belief. Just like for a Christian, belief is in heaven or hell, that is faith belief as well. We also have religious practices, formalities, ceremonies, rituals that we perform that would generally not be considered a way of life, but as a religious practice. Again, a person certainly may approach Buddhism as a way of life and just from the philosophy aspect. However, most Buddhists do believe that there is some belief. We believe in cause and effect. We have many things that we firmly and strongly believe. We see evidence for in our lives, just as many Christians see evidence for a God creator. Buddhists see evidence for evolution. We see evidence for rebirth. But again, these are not necessarily provable. So we accept them on faith. And that's a religious practice. So how does one convert to Buddhism? The formal way is to take vows at a temple with a priest. But of course, anybody can claim they're Buddhist, and that's okay. We're not picky about that. We encourage everybody to practice Buddhism. We think that the world would be a much better place if everybody practiced Buddhism. But formally, one would approach a temple, talk to the priest, express a desire to convert to Buddhism. They would work with the priest for a period of time, a few months, maybe a year. And at the end of that time, most of the time it's just a matter of months. At the end of that time, they would have completed some certain studies, had some discussions with the priest, and prepared to take vows. When one takes vows, one promises to cherish, to honor, to respect the Buddha, the Buddha's teachings, and the community or congregation in which they practice. These are the three jewels of Buddhism: the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. And we take refuge in them when we convert to Buddhism. So can a non-Buddhist attend a Buddhist service? Yes, we welcome guests at all of our services. It is, that's one of the things that we do here at this temple. We frequently get university students and high school students on school projects, school assignments, who visit our temple and observe our practice here. We also, if they wish, invite them to participate, although some people have religious beliefs which are deeply held, and who feel that to participate in a Buddhist service goes against their religious convictions. And we're certainly okay with that. We just welcome people to participate, to observe and to listen. So it's however a person wishes to come. As long as they're respectful, we welcome them. Finally, they wanted to know how, let students know how they may contact the temple or find out anything more about us. We have a web page that is www.myoshi.org. Again, that was www.myoshi.org. On the temple's webpage is a current calendar which lists all of our services, and all of our services are open to guests. We just ask that people arrive a few minutes early so that we can get them situated here and explain to them what will be going on. There's also photos on my blog. There's all kinds of lectures and discussions of Buddhist theory, and I invite people to read that. There's lectures on the sutra, a couple of lectures on some of Nichiren's writings, as well as some postings about how to live daily life as a Buddhist. And certainly invite anyone, if they wish, to explore those online offerings. So again, I'd like to thank you very much for inviting me to make this video for your class. I hope that you find it beneficial. I kept it short so that you wouldn't get bored. The answers were not lengthy, and if you have other questions or would like a longer explanation, I welcome you to fill out a contact form, and I'll do the best I can to answer them via email or point you to some place on the web where you might explore that further. So I will close this video by chanting our Odaimoku, our mantra, 3 times, which is the traditional way we close services and close lectures. And I'll go ahead and do that now. Namu Myo Renge Kyo. Namu Myo Renge Kyo. Namu Myo Renge Kyo. Again, thank you very much, and I wish you all the very best. Thank you.